So I'm going to go to the agenda now, and I'm having a feeling that I need to have two more parts for me to be wide awake, if I need to. So maybe I think we should go for one, but I'm thinking that at least the new business one, I'm going to ask to postpone it, but not immediately now. But do all the commissioners feel, I'm just asking, do we go for item number 4? We have item number 4 and 5. Can we go ahead with the 4, and then I'm thinking of passing motion later to postpone the item number 5, because that is another like just discussions on it for the next meeting. Is there any inputs or anyone feel that way where you can continue?
I
Yes, sir.
have,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I would just like for before we table item number 5 to make sure that we incorporate both my and Commissioner Mina's information. So when we talk about it next time, we'll have that incorporated. That's my only ask. Otherwise, I'm happy to table it, which is in our okay to do.
I'm sorry, you're talking about 4 or a 5?
I think I'm talking about 5.
Actually, that will fall under item 4.
Oh, sorry, item 4.
That's okay.
Wait, what am I? Oh, yeah.
So there are two.
Sorry, I got it confused. Okay.
Yeah, so what I was saying is about the 4 is done. We have a data, we can present it, we can see it, because there's no discussion happening on prioritization today. It is just giving a presentation. I believe maybe staff, Dr. John, you can tell me what you want accomplished. But the item number 5 is a new business is, okay, what is the evaluation process going forward if you have another thing to do? Which is like, we'll come up with, because we had some challenges in the way in which we did it a couple of times. So we wanted to come up with a common process. So that can wait. That's what I said. The 5 can wait on it. That's what I meant.
That's fine. And I'd like.
Yeah, 4 can be, if the data is available, it can be presented. I think it's okay. We can just complete with it. Only the new business, I was thinking that we can move that out, because it's going to be a long discussion, because everybody will have brainstorming, right? I don't know whether I have enough things to really brainstorm. I think my brain is checking out. So I just wanted to make sure. So is it okay then? If it is okay, let's move to the item number 4. The subject is Commissioner Park amenity evaluations and next steps. The recommended action is conduct a first review of the commissioner's evaluations for the park amenity improvements and discuss a timeline, just a timeline for next steps.
Yes.
Does that good? Okay.
We're good.
Good, please.
So I have Whitney Zeller, our administrative assistant and liaison help to the commission that will be presenting this item. And so let me do.
So Director Chuman, sorry to interrupt you, sir. I see a hand raised by Commissioner Stanek. Is there anything, Commissioner Stanek?
Yeah, I guess, well, it's just part of this item is that, with the presentation, since the data is incomplete, I think our discussion is going on the data itself is going to be very short, and we can focus just on what are we going to do next. And it's going to, so.
I see. Okay,
that's the issue.
Maybe. Okay, thank you. Maybe we'll just run through it and see what, and then we will quickly go to the next steps. I think that would be helpful, because anyway, presentation they started on it. I like the presentation to continue.
It's fairly brief. I'll try to get through.
Sure.
So we can do the next slide. So the agenda for this item includes an overview of the park amenity evaluations, evaluation submissions, next steps, and items for discussion. At the September 3rd Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, the commissioners established an extended deadline of September 14th to submit their evaluation forms for the park amenity improvements. The commissioners also noted that the staff were not expected to be held to the same deadline to complete their evaluations. 3 commissioners submitted their evaluations by the September 14th deadline. 2 evaluations were received past the deadline and have been documented by staff should the commission decide that they be included with the other data. The following 2 slides provide a summary of the evaluations submitted by the commissioners. This combined data was not published in the staff report as there was inconsistency amongst the data submitted, preventing us from accurately reflecting the commissioners' responses. Some evaluations submitted included 2 numbers for items separated with a slash, while others submitted 1. In the case where 2 numbers were provided, an average of the 2 was used. These submissions will be used as data points when evaluating prioritization for park amenity improvements. The next steps are to have the staff evaluate the information submitted from Parks and Recreation staff, Public Works staff, and the commissioners. Based on the information received, staff will provide a recommendation for prioritization, which will be brought to the commissioners at a future meeting to review and provide feedback. Some of the outstanding items to consider include the data points where 2 submissions were made for 1 category, the 2 evaluation submissions received after the deadline, and the timeline and process for providing the combined data to the commissioners. And then Joanne is here to answer questions, and myself as well, since I assisted with receiving the evaluations.
Okay, so let's have any clarifying questions from commissioners. I don't see anything. And the public comment, let's see. If the public has anything specific on that one, okay, I see a hand raised. Let me allow, I think William, I'm sorry, it's Jennifer it says, but sorry.
Yes, it's Jennifer. My husband's William Merritt.
Oh, sorry, yeah, please, go ahead. I
Have a little discussion about Parkland. I just sent you all about 8 emails to the Park and Rec Commission. I hope that you all read them thoroughly. I am extremely disappointed with the lack of effort of Cupertino to acquire parkland for Cupertino. The Lawrence Mitty project was initiated in
Hello, Jennifer, sorry, you're talking about this particular topic on the park and evaluation?
I am, and I sat here for 10 minutes with my hand up and nobody recognized me. Okay, Sterling.
No, you're allowed, maybe I just want to clarify. If you're talking about the previous one, a person will be allowed once, and we moved on from public comment to the
I am talking about this item, Parkland, okay? Sterling Barnhart, I helped plan that 12 years ago. It is a 1/2 acre park. It suits Rancho to a T. We need more of them. I say now, I propose a new park. It is the pool district. It's the special district. The city can pony up $2 million, strip the land, and Rancho will have a new park, and we will shut up about it for the next 20 years. Yes, I think I have been a big proponent. If you look back at the city council meetings for the last 20 years, and then also in the county for 5 years, I am a big proponent of acquisition of parkland for cities. I think that we need more parkland. I think that tech companies should pony up money and start buying parkland. We need parkland. We're going to be flooded with high density housing from Mr. Scott Wiener and Google and Facebook, and we're not going to have any parkland. So yes, let's buy parkland. And if you need to start, level the pool in Rancho Rinconada and give us a park. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, William. I appreciate it. Give me 1 second. Sorry, okay, I'm sorry, I'm back. No, so there were no clarification questions. So any discussions by commissioners? I got a few. Let's see, one at least. Commissioner Stanek, please. And Commissioner Sashi. Okay. Commissioner Stanek,
sorry, I need to unmute myself.
Okay.
Yeah, this bleeds over into the process, but we have to talk about process for this particular item is, I think, where we are for next steps. What was presented here is that basically staff was going to take all the input from the commissioners to the extent that you could decipher it, and there was maybe 1 input, et cetera, average it all out, give that to staff to make priorities, and then have it come back to us. I don't think that was certainly not how I envisioned this at all. My understanding, and I believe that Commissioner Tombe had talked about this in the last meeting, is that we didn't want the numbers that we inputted to just be averaged. I think we wanted a discussion so that we could really pull out of each other, what were you thinking when you did this, and that we come to a group decision on, gee, should it be a 1 or a 5 or a 3 before it goes to staff. and then they can reprioritize, what we've given them. These are our priorities, and then staff can go and see what can they actually get done. But so I think that that's a flip of that, of the process there. I think the input, the conversations, the comments that Commissioner Begor and Chair Gopal put in, they were so valuable, and they help us to evolve our own. It helped me evolve some of my thoughts, and I think as we discuss it, we can come to better conclusions of what are we thinking, what didn't I think of, what did they think of, etc.
Yeah, I think I just want to add a point before I go. I think, Whitney, correct me if I'm wrong, when you said average, I thought you mentioned, because I was the one put in those slash for the two, because I did not know whether I should put it. I should also put if the slash are not there, then you can take the single value. And I think you mentioned that as the average of those two and take one. I think it's only for that report. Is that right? Or
there were actually two commissioners who submitted multiple
I see.
items, but you did clarify which one to take in that case. And so I took those numbers, but then in Sashi's case, I did have to do an average, and we can.
That's fine with me.
The
average number was okay with me, no problem.
Yeah, so the only thing is what Commissioner Stanek said is that I don't think that we are going to do that one, I believe, because at this point, staff is not going to average from all three commissioners and come up with it. That's not, because I don't think that should be the right way. So individually, yes, because I do not know what the slash means, recycle bin, and other one I thought I should rate it too. And then I thought, maybe I don't know, maybe I need one. So I given both options. If you want one, take one. If you want each one. But that's okay. I'm fine with it. Looks like Commissioner Sashi is also okay with that.
I wish I had the sense to say, sorry, I wish I had done the combined. I didn't think of that. I was like, I'm confused, so I'm just going to put one for one. Yeah. So, but I'm happy with average.
I just wanted to close that thought. What Commissioner Stanek said is completely agree that it's not originally when we talked about, it is the data input to you from individually. And we are not going to average between, because this is not going to be a number to figure it out. That's not. But staff will do their own analysis, whatever the assessment. You'll come back with your own ratings too. Then we will have all of them put together and we will talk about it, discuss, and say where. And we might say that, oh yeah, we will prioritize it. It is little different than the community fund one, where yes, there was an average one we had to go, but this one, each one has to with a different lens. So my lens was how I have seen the park is different, and the way in which every commissioner. So averaging out of all three into one absolutely is not going to give the right value. So I do agree. I don't think that that's what you meant. I just wanted to clarify. Whitney's comment on averaging is only specific to individual commissioners' report, not combining all three. That's all I just want to clarify. And Dr. Juan, I know you raised your hand. I just wanted to, is there anything related to this one? And you can clarify before.
I just wanted to take credit for the lesson that I learned in putting together an Excel spreadsheet with a slash in the column for returned information.
And so both are two different. So
it was my flaw.
They're two different, and I was looking at two different. I don't know, how do I combine both the difference? I don't know. Okay, so now I do have. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, Joanne, it's not your fault. It's engineers. We both sort of seem to think like, okay, put a slash means this is a separate topic. Whatever. I can't believe it.
Yeah, but luckily I did average myself with a different one. If it is inclined, what should be? So good. So sorry, let me go back to you. I think Commissioner Tambe said it, and Commissioner Stanek, I'll come to you after that. Commissioner Tambe raised her hand. So go ahead, please.
Oh, if Commissioner Tambe would just let me go first, I would like to make a comment.
Sure.
Yeah, so my comment is we absolutely need all 5 commissioners' input on this. And I don't think that I think there were some technical difficulties, and, there was absolutely best efforts, and there was lots of time to do this. So I don't think at all that we should ignore that input. We have 5 commissioners for a reason. I really want all the commissioners' input on this. So I wanted to make that comment because I don't know how, I'm guessing Nisha says the same thing, but I wanted to make that comment.
Let's go to, thank you. And let's go to Commissioner Tambe, please.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I should have verified that you guys received it on time. I'm unfortunately not legally permitted to access commission or personal information on my work devices. So I apologize for not having verified that you guys got that on time. I actually had it done before our September meeting. So that was a bit of a bummer, but I would like for it to be included. I do, however, think that it does need to be, provided that the commission, is okay with that. I do think it needs to be a special meeting. Just judging by today alone, I can't imagine this not being its own independent meeting. And I also think that we need to make sure that we talk about the long-term vision. And the reason I say the long-term strategic plan and just understanding what we're going to do with that is because my ratings actually incorporated the ratings in the other column where I was like, oh, what else would you want to put here? Lawrence Mitty, there's new information about that since I had completed this, but there is more stuff to be had and to be added to in the long term. And so that influenced how I scored. And I completely agree that the average thing is not necessarily ideal. So I think having an independent meeting is going to be really essential. And I would be, I think that would be it's going to take us a while. And then for those who were on the commission before, the old format of us deciding the work plan was actually very, very collaborative and very, very discussion oriented. So we actually, now we can't do this in real life, but we used to sit in a room, in a circle with a shared screen where we would all just have a discussion about the things that mattered and the things that were important. And I think when I read through Chair Gopal and Sachi, your rationale is oh, damn it, that made a lot of sense. I wish I had read this beforehand, and I wish I had I don't know, I really want to understand the thought process behind it. So I completely agree that it has to be discussion oriented because we all have really good insight and very varied insight that I think can really impact the way that we decide where this 200K can be allocated before June.
Okay, thank you. And I think Commissioner Sashi raised her hand too. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so there was a comment on just the long-term ideas of what we want to do, but isn't this a short-term project that we have? That's why the emergency of having to do it by September 14th, despite the environment around us.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm really surprised why we're throwing that in.
I was just explaining that was part of my rationale when I was vetting these parks. Instead of being we should put a basketball court here and a basketball court here, I was okay, we shouldn't prioritize for this short term putting a basketball court here because I actually see it as something else. Maybe there's another park a basketball court would go at better. So that was just, I wanted to communicate that was influenced the way that I was prioritizing things.
Okay. That's a fair statement. My take on that was that I think all of us have looked at these when we looked at I'm making a statement and I hope I'm right, but I believe we were given a task to do something within a certain time frame for short-term expenditure, which was the 200K. So I believe we did take all of those into consideration when we made that statement.
Okay, thank you. And any other discussions, Commissioner? I don't see any other. So there are a couple of things I think, Whitney, in the last slide you put in there. I'm sorry, if you could flash it again. I just want to make sure that we just go through that. Looks like something is really surprising for.
Sorry, the president just tweeted that he has COVID.
So, seriously?
We can continue our discussion. No, I'm reading I got an alert on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
This is a point of order. I should not have brought that up. I apologize.
That's okay. No, I thought something shot. It's not really. Okay, we will. Okay. So, Whitney, would you mind and just flashing that last slide, which says, what do you want us to do? There are 4 bullet points, I believe, 3 or 4. Community hall requested to control my camera. Yes, I'm approving it.
Sorry, I'm having technical difficulty.
Yeah, okay, no problem. No, it's a community
You
hall.
want me to share from my?
Yeah, I don't know why I can't do it, Whitney. I'm sorry.
I can share. Can you all see that?
Yeah, okay. Clarified data points. So what is a specific one on that when you say data points? It's all clarified, right?
This is the ones with the dashes. So I would say if you do incorporate the other two commissioners' data, I haven't looked through it thoroughly to see if that is an issue in there, but if you can come to a consensus that an average is okay for.
No, I think clarifying the data points, I think still, irrespective of the second bullet point, we can talk about it. And the first bullet point is that we already made it. All the data points should be considered individually.
Right.
With the 3 or a 5, doesn't matter, individual. When it comes to recommendation, then averaging out is not the option. Maybe the weightage, that I think that's a part, I think priority discussion, which is, I think that's what I believe. Is that?
It's just the ones that you guys slashed in the same.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So I think the clarity has to be in that, specifically mine, where I have two numbers. They have done an average of those numbers, and I'm okay with that. So clarifying that data point, there is no confusion on that one. I'm fine with that.
For me also, no problem at all. So that's clear.
So we haven't, for the record, we're stating we did not do, you guys, you as in the staff, did not combine mine, Gopal's, and Carol's and put it all as an average. You just did average of our data.
The only averaging done was with
mine.
And then in the highlighted area,
right
look here, the average section.
That's fine.
Average
individually. Okay. Mm-hmm. Individually for each one. No, sorry. Go ahead. 1 minute. Well, so sorry. If you could go back.
To the data or this slide? Data.
I think that's what we don't want it. So if I look at the average, so what it does is that average column should not be there because that's not the average we want. That average is the one average those 3 individuals, and we don't want to have that as a number. So that average is not. So we should take individually for the different for that one. So that average is not what we are recommending. We should not do that average across those numbers. Is that right?
So,
I just want to ask.
Yes, I agree with that. There should be like 5 columns under each thing, one with each of the commissioners, and no average.
Yep. And how do we use this data? That's what I think we said. There will be a special meeting or some meeting where can we sit together and say, somebody can say, why I rated 5, why I rated 1. So maybe then some data points and say, oh, maybe right. Maybe 1 will go to 5 or 5 come to 1. So I think that's what we wanted to normalize. I think that's over the discussion, it can be normalized and it can be just one meeting just for that. I think that's what I think we should do it. So that part is clear. So now there is a second point. It says submissions received after deadline. What do we do with it? So that's a part I think we as a commissioners need to make a decision on it. So anybody wants to discuss on that topic? Okay, Sashi.
Yeah, I
have that one. Yeah, go ahead.
I particularly think there was a clear instruction that stuff needed to come in. We'd asked for an extension for significant reasons. Everything was not allowed. To then come back when you had finished your whether you finished or not finished, to not be able to do it. And I think that somehow is like, I spent my time to make sure things got there. I don't think it's fair to me that I have to, I have asthma. I do go out in the smoke regardless. I did that. So I don't think it's fair not to take, I should have gotten that extra time. I could have submitted it 1 week later in a lot more piece. I didn't get that, and I don't think it's fair that I don't get that extra time. And for whatever reason, and I understand technical stuff happens, but I think it's a small step to just see, have I attached, have I not attached? I am not happy with extending the data.
Okay. Let's see, Commissioner Stanek here, please.
I understand with you're being disappointed, but I think we're shortchanging ourselves if we don't take the input. It's there. What we're going to be doing is discussing it and modifying it anyway. So if it was something that staff needed to take immediately and do some work on, and they were impeded from doing that, I would understand that, get it in on time and don't impede staff. But here we are anyway. It doesn't hurt us at all, and I think it will improve our product. I would like to see what the other commissioners, how they've rated things. And I believe they will be participating in the discussion. So to have them be participating in the discussion and not know how they rated things, it's going to make it more difficult. And so I understand. I like deadlines too. I'm a big proponent of deadlines, and but I think it hurts us more than it helps us, and I don't think we should hurt ourselves just because. I don't want to be arbitrary about it. So.
Okay. So, thank you. And I do look like Commissioner Mina want to say something, please.
Yeah, I remember in last commission meeting, and several commissioner and the staff also said, they all said this is only for some short-term plan, and that's why they need the data as soon as possible. But we already delayed, so they really want the data on time. I'm so sorry I didn't make it. Only one day I missed this. Next time I'll make sure I can meet the deadline. Yeah.
So, okay, I think we hear, sorry, Sashi, you want to say something or no? Okay, so we heard two things. I'm just putting it on the table now. Even if you go with, I'm just coming with option. If you go with this just 3 data, which is submitted on time, yet other commissioners will be able to participate in the discussion, because that's not precluding, that's not going to stop them to participate in the discussion and influencing on, or I should not use the word influencing, at least putting the right data point on the table for us to make the right decision. I'm sure that there is going to be the process, because even though this data is the initial data point, I think that if you go with that exactly the timeline, and we did it as such, as Commissioner Sashi said, I do respect that part. The data can be there. This is one data point, and then city will come up with the data point. And then when we sit together and talk about it in a special meeting or in a meeting, to talk, saying that, okay, these are the data points. Let's talk about why, what do we think that which one to prioritize. I don't think that we will still exclude any of the commissioners. All commissioners will still feel that the commissioners can still use the same data and talk about it too. I don't see any reason it will not be included. So that's what I see it. That's an option. I mean, one way. That's because they can still talk about it. The other one, maybe Commissioner Sashi, maybe I'll finish that one and I'll allow you to. The second part is that if you feel that, you know what, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we are going to discuss together, and then we can do the same thing anyway we're going to do by having these 2 inputs in parallel. It's going to really help us to give you some more viewpoint. That's also another option. So we are talking about these 2 options, but nothing is going to preclude any of those stopping us to discuss together to make the call. So that's what I see it. But I just wanted to put it, Sashi, I highly respect it, because I know I'm also, like Commissioner Sana said, I worked on that one. As I said, my family didn't allow me, but I did went on to do it. So, but at the same time, I don't want to penalize. I don't want people to feel that the other way. But Commissioner Sashi,
I would be more comfortable with the first option. I mean, it's not like we are not going to take their input, period. Definitely, if there's something complete, I don't I don't believe, I think most of the three of us just looking at, the rough ideas that we have, we're kind of in the same ballpark. I don't expect that, the other two, the input of the other two is so far away that their input doesn't, will contradict what we have. There's definitely points that they will be able to make, which will, potentially influence us to say, okay, maybe this is a 3, maybe this is a 4, that sort of thing. But I don't think it'll come to, oh, this was 5, it's going to 1. It'll be in the same ballpark, I would imagine. So I'm more comfortable. Again, I did go out and spend my time. I mean, I literally had my husband drive me around so I could finish all the, all the parts that I had left. And I think my time has to be respected.
Sure. Well, I hear you. I think we hear you overall. Okay, there are, two Commissioner, who came first? Commissioner Stanek also, maybe I didn't see it. Okay. I'm not sleepy. I just want to make sure the hands went on it, so I just want to make it clear. So Commissioner Tambe, you raised the hand, please go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand. I wish it had been included in tonight's full agenda packet that went out to everybody at 6 p.m. today. It would have been nice if that was an addendum or if that was a written communication, because we did get the full packet today. So it could have been included in there, not as a part of the analysis or not as a part of the agenda, but I would love for it to be included, but we're still going to be in the discussion anyway. And to be clear, I finished this before our September meeting, so it wasn't an extended period of time that I gave myself. I want to be extremely clear about that. I stuck to our original deadline. So I just want to be very clear that it wasn't like I took an extra month to do it. So I just wanted to be very clear about that. But you are 100% right. The submission date matters. And so I can completely understand your perspective.
Okay, and let's see, Commissioner Stanek. Now I see it. I did see it. Commissioner Stanek raising hand. I'm not. I thought I'm blinking. Maybe it's not. Go ahead.
No, I'm messing with you. I had my hand up, and then I saw Commissioner Tambe had her hand up, and I wanted to let her speak before I spoke again. So I guess one question is, how are we going to decide this? Are we going to take a vote on this? Are we going to have a motion? I just think the more information, the better. I think it's a little short-sighted not to include it. I'd rather see it in a table, and then have our discussion from there. And I mean, it wasn't like the other commissioners just blew it off. I mean, it was already delayed one time, and so I just don't see the point of not having. If the information is there, why not use it? I mean, again, it's not impacting us. If it were impacting us in some way, or if it impacted staff, I would have a different opinion about it. But now it's impacting me to not have the data. And I think more information is better if we have it.
Commissioner Shashi. Yeah, I see it again. Yeah. I think you're also started because it went and then went on it. There is something really going wrong. It's not me, please, because the name Commissioner Sashi's name was in the bottom. I was about to go on to click it, then it went on the top. Somebody's playing. Maybe the video team is playing with me to see I'm wide awake. I am wide awake. You can count numbers, so I'm good. Please.
I was not testing you. I was just trying to be super efficient. So as soon as you said my name, I was like, okay, I can lower my hand, and then I realized I had to unmute. So it's just confusion on my part, not yours.
Okay.
As I said, I don't believe the data would be that different. So I kind of think we should stick with what we have. If we have to vote on it, I'm okay with
that. Sorry. So, yeah, I think this is, as I said, there are two options available, and I think we are in a critical state, and I don't want to put anyone on the spot or anyone. Sorry. Somebody's trying to save me now.
I'd like to make a motion. Is that okay?
Sure. I think, yeah, we can make a motion. I think it's okay. What I would like to see that as these, I just want to go the process wise. And if this happens, or these deadlines, and the only thing I want to make sure, I'm just being a neutral, and this, if this kind of data, and then we don't want to make this as a precedence, right? Kind of. So I just want to make sure what is the price, is there any process, or we just make commission as a commission, we make a call, right? Because I haven't done it, so I do not know how it is going to go, the process wise, once a deadline is missed and how it is submitted.
Yeah, I think that was the whole point of having that other agenda item on there to decide for future cases. And I think right now, I mean, my motion will be specific to this particular thing.
Okay, and one quick question. So, Whitney, do you still have other two commissioners' data already with you, both the spreadsheets available with you?
Yeah, I've filed them with the rest of the data. I didn't include.
Because you didn't include it in it, but you have the data on hand.
Yes, yeah. So I've still filed it away. So if the decision's made to include it, it's just a matter of adding a couple more columns.
Okay, Commissioner Sashi, yeah, please. Thank you for raising directly. Because I don't like to want to spend it.
That's what I did.
My life easy.
Do we have exact? I mean, do we just generally have timestamps for when that data was sent?
Yeah, the one submitted from Commissioner Shu was included in the packet. It just doesn't show the attachment, but that was when the information was received. And then I did speak with Commissioner.
No, that is Commissioner. Sorry.
Yeah,
one was Monday before the deadline, and the other was Tuesday by 7 p.m. or something like that. It was not significant.
Mine was not. My attachment didn't go through. And
I know, but
but I didn't have so they didn't get that information until after I saw our agenda for this yesterday. So that's because I don't have access to my personal stuff.
So when did we receive? I think I just want to make sure. I think the question is right. I want to know how long it got delayed, if it is a delay. So Commissioner.
This week, they got it from me this morning, yesterday night. Because that's when whenever I looked at the agenda.
So 14, I'm just trying to, because I just want to be cognizant to it. Today is October 1st, but this one September 14th, right?
Mm-hmm.
September 15th was a due, and you received from Commissioner Mina on September 15th. You got it. And then you got it from Commissioner Tambe yesterday, which is on 30th.
Right. Understanding that feedback it didn't get to her. I mean, she didn't. I mean.
So when did we? I just wanted to understand, when did the message went? I just want to make sure clear, because I'm trying to make sure that I respect everyone's. So Whitney, you said that the response went only later to Commissioner Tambe, so that she couldn't respond back, that the attachment was missing. I just wanted to understand when did it go?
The response that the attachment wasn't received was sent out about 10 minutes after receiving the email that didn't include the attachment. But the issue was that it had gone to a different email that she wasn't able to access. Is that correct, Nisha?
Yeah, I'm not legally allowed to access certain data from my work computer. But again, it is up to you guys what you choose to include and what you don't choose to include.
So did it go to a different email, or did it go to a Cupertino email, to her Cupertino email?
So the data, that email was sent to me from a Gmail account. So then when I responded, it went back to the Gmail account, and I didn't realize that it wasn't the Cupertino account.
Oh, okay.
But it came from an account you obviously have access to.
I cannot access from my work devices.
Yeah, I get that.
Either of those two email addresses. Otherwise, the Verizon will own anything that is on either our city or this. So it is up to you guys. They received it from me this week. So it is up to you guys what you choose to do with that. Whether or not you choose to accept it is up to each individual commissioner. That's 100% fine. It's a little, you can only imagine how frustrating it is for me to have completed this before our September meeting.
Yeah, I think I understand. I think we just, the reason I just checked, I want to make sure there's no communication gap between city responding to the commissioner. That's the reason I asked those Commissioner Tambe and
No, it was not on.
to
No.
make sure that Whitney sent it out and it may be stuck in somewhere, because I did have my city email got stuck and my password, I couldn't access at all. But thank God I have Whitney's number. And then I keep on and she helped me to reset thrice. So I just want to make sure that is clear on that part. So yeah, please, I think we discussed enough, and I think if there is a motion, I like to make sure that let's do the motion and then see what the commissions are talking about.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept all 5 commissioners' input on this particular issue to include in the consolidation for review of the priorities for the strategic planning.
Somebody can second it?
I'll second it.
Second it. Okay, any discussion on this? I know, no more discussion. I know the computer session you're talking about. Yeah, okay, so we can go for a voting, and I'm particularly, I'm not so comfortable in, because I do a one commissioner at a time, one at a. So we go for voting, and then I may have to abstain on it. Go ahead.
Chair Kumarapan.
I think I will abstain because I do see that there is a counter, and then I don't want to make one commissioner feel good, one commissioner feel. I would like to abstain for now. So I don't know whether it is the right thing to or not, but I couldn't match it. Maybe you can go ahead with the others too, and yeah, please go ahead with the others.
Vice Chair Stanek.
Maybe I might change it. So Stanek,
I vote in favor.
Yeah, she's the one who put the motion on it. Okay.
Commissioner Tambe.
Yes.
You.
Commissioner Shu.
I suggest that we just follow the rule. So not include.
I think I'll need a yes or a no, or.
Yeah, I think, yeah, you need to.
No.
Or no, I think.
Commissioner Begor.
No, Sashi is fine too.
I believe in the case of a tie that the chair is the.
Oh my God! Finally, I thought, okay, I should do, because I'm like, I don't know what to do it, and it looks like I need to make a call on it. Yeah. So again, please don't get me wrong. Any of this is yes or no, because I'm trying to figure it out. Some commissioners did it one, and I don't want to come as a dude to just to override that. At the same time, I do see the input. Yeah, I'm still going to abstain. But what happens if it is abstain? If I abstain, there's 2 plus 2 and 2. What happens to the motion? I don't know. First time I'm seeing this one. Maybe Commissioner Tambe, others who used to be inexperienced in this one. What happens? Or maybe Whitney, you can tell what happens on that.
I believe that the chair is the tiebreaker.
Oh my God! Irrespective of it, looks like I'm coming back and putting me on it.
Exactly.
I have a good night's sleep or not, and to do that one. I think I would, given the current the way in which we do, we still will use their data in the discussion. I would still vote no. The reason is, if we have twice extended and whatever reason it is, it got in it, and we will still include their data for discussions. At the time, we can still use that values and stuff. So
wait, sorry, just for clarification. So we are not going to include it for this meeting, but we're going to include the values for the discussion of the next meeting?
No, not the data. So that's what I'm trying to come up with. I'm being put in a situation. I want to make sure that I do the right thing for the overall, all of your input. If we go with the second, whenever we go on a discussions, at the time your inputs will be used. When I say the data, it's not your data as a spreadsheet, but the whatever your inputs.
Can I paraphrase for that for just a second? You will be able to participate. I think that's where he's trying to go.
Yeah.
Not necessarily include your sheet.
Yeah, does that clarify?
So I just want to also clarify that we are willing to. There's no good faith here.
No. So that's what, as I said, I'm not going with good faith or not. I'm trying to see. Some commissioners went on, and both the commissioner, I think, and they said I was expecting. I should not prompt it. I mean, I also went in, had some problem, went in, and she's okay with it. Commissioner had this one, and if I go and vote it, I'm just open to discuss. This is a public. It's okay. I'm not respecting their time. That's how I see it as a chair, which way to vote it, and they both said they don't want to. So I wanted to see which one. So that's what I'm.
So does this hold
Also,
true now? Does this hold true
are-
now for the rest of all of the deadlines that we have? So like the first deadline that we had for this, where I had completed it in time, does that mean that for future we will not be extending these kinds of things? Or is it that there's no good faith here?
No. So no, absolutely. Sorry, that's not what I meant. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, are we doing the same thing I did last time, which is we are amending this in some way, or are we just voting on this?
No, the discussion.
We're having a discussion.
Maybe I should have made it before the voting. We had a discussion. I think at the time we were not. But since it's a tiebreaker, I think I entertain a discussion too before I make my decision on it, right? Because I just want to make sure that if we use these two commissioners, so I should say Commissioner Mina and Commissioner Tampe's inputs as part of our discussion. When I say inputs, I didn't mean to, take those values and append with it. That's not what I meant. I said they will be part of the discussion anyway. If that is going to be there, I don't know how this data is going to influence, these values. So that's what I said, even if I said no now, but they'll be part of the process. That's what I meant. I don't know, Commissioner Sashi, is that clarifies what I meant?
No, I understood what you meant. I have no problem with that. I think you clarified it again.
Because I'm trying to see the process, and if I say vote yes now, I think we are overriding the original deadline, and then two commissioners who were completed, or not completed, even one didn't complete, one completed has it. So I'm kind of in a state. Yes, you maybe think that, Gopal, you're not able to make a decision. Absolutely, you're right.
So Gopal, if you want to vote no, why don't you vote no and make a follow-on motion of how this is going to be handled?
Okay, I think that should be good then. Okay, I will vote no on this one. The follow-up motion, I think this is what I wanted to see, that is that when we do a priority discussions, it is going to be input from all commissioners. It's not, we're not going just to use only the 3 commissioners input, right? I just want to make it clear. So my motion is we will include all commissioners as part of the discussion. And this is only one of the data. It's not all the data. City will have a data. All these commissioners' data will be there. And other 2 commissioners, Commissioner Nisha, Commissioner Tambe, and Commissioner Minas will also be part of the discussion. So I want to make, I don't know whether we need a motion for this kind of thing, because that's going to be part of the process. So I don't know whether we need a motion for it.
So I actually have a point of order question for Whitney and for the director. Are we not allowed to submit any written communications in for an agenda item?
I don't believe so, especially if you're voting on it after the agenda has been published. We were trying to clarify that information prior to the meeting. And because it was so late in the game, we weren't able to coordinate and get the information we really needed to. So we just erred on the side of caution. We were hoping that you all could come to a decision on this, and so that we could kind of avert having to address that issue. So.
Okay, well, I would then like to make another motion for the subsequent meeting to include in the agenda packet the information that was submitted by both myself and Commissioner Mina. Not as a format in that data spreadsheet, but just so that people have it. Because me talking through, well, I would have given this a 5 for every single one of the columns in 18 different parks, because we are going to be talking through it. And if we are going through every single one, which we're planning on doing, it just seems like a gross and efficient waste of time. So for the sake of the discussion of that meeting, we don't have to include it in this one, but for the sake of discussion, that's my motion. My motion is for the subsequent agenda, for the subsequent meeting where this is discussed, that both Commissioner Mina and my values be added to the discussion sections.
So I have a question with regard to that. I think.
So maybe
before,
sorry,
yeah.
that's a motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we need to have a second and then we can come for discussion, right? Is it the process? If there is a motion to include their data, Commissioner Tombe, sorry, I just want to get that. You want to make sure that those data, anyway, it's a publicly available data, it is submitted. So those data is available with the timestamp, whatever. So those data, the request I see is that the data has to be made available when we discuss in a special meeting. It's not combined again with these three. Is that
so the data will be available or will it not be available? Will it be attached to this or not? I'm very confused.
So if you say that, then what is the point of what we voted on? I mean, we just voted that the data won't be available, but their inputs are available. So they can always say, hey, there is something significantly wrong with what you're doing, and here's why. But their data doesn't get included because we just voted on that. Are we going back on that?
I think, no. Sashi, again, I just want to make it clarify because this is very important. I want to make sure that the Commissioner Tombe's proposal is not to go and append on these three columns with another two and add it. I don't think that is. But when we come on to discuss on the priorities, we'll have this officially submitted three inputs. We have it, that's available. But in the agenda packet, there will be one other document which will talk about it. Even if it's a late submission, those two documents will be available for us to refer. Is that the way I understand, Commissioner Tombe? Can you clarify that?
Yeah, because my understanding is right now, as it stands, that it's not even include, like the fact that we went through and looked at 18 parks, which again, I did before the September meeting, was not included in this. And that's, again, like I said, it's up to you guys, or collectively it's up to us whether or not we want to include that in the data sheet that Whitney provided. But then I want it to be visible for the next discussion section, because otherwise I'm literally going to sit there for the next discussion section and be like, okay, like if it's completely like does not align, I'll be like, yes, no.
So can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? You have access to your data and you have justification for why you came up with whatever rating you have. So, you have that in front of you. We just voted that data cannot be included or whatever. We voted on this
in the data sheet, correct?
Why don't we have a second and then a discussion on this?
Yeah, as I said,
I don't think we should be having questions now.
Yeah,
we should have a second and then discuss.
Correct. I think I just clarified the motion. I think because for me, but I think if somebody has seconded, and then we can discuss it, hopefully. So, I think
I will second it for discussion.
Excellent. So, I just want to start it again on the discussion point. I just want to make it clear what is the right thing. So, Commissioner Tombe's request is in the agenda packet, whenever we do it, there will be two different set of documents. I just wanted to make sure that's how it is. That's what I'm hearing. One is based on whatever we decided today, the average will be taken out, and this spreadsheet will be used as this is the input from the commissioners by the deadline. This is what it is. That's a one data point. Then you will have at the agenda packet, there will be a data from city that there is a data, whatever the Parks and Rec or Public Works, whatever the data it is, there will be another data. Then what there's an addendum, there's an appendix on that will be, okay, the two additional data we received it, but didn't make into the compiled report of it from two commissioners, and those is also available as a reference. I think that's what I understand as to be available because the data available for you to refer and make it. That's what I don't think that is combining with the first three.
Yeah.
Yes. Does that make it, Commissioner Sashi?
I'm asking it be just as an appendix so people are aware.
It is just to work to be, because it's a public document, the request is, can you make it public? So we submitted it, and can that be part of the appendix? And it's not about combining it. That data will be available to anyone to see it too, because it's a public document. I think that's asked.
So what you clarified is the motion that you made, that was made.
I just clarified because I wanted to understand what Commissioner Tambe said. I just wanted to make
So
sure that
maybe Commissioner Tambe can explain if she agrees with what you said.
Yeah. No, I think he's spot on.
Okay, so basically we will have access. But when you have access to your own data, you can't provide input. You're just providing it as public information. Is that what you're saying?
I think it should be public information. It's a little weird for me to be like, I don't know. It feels like hiding information. So I want it to just be an appendix. So it's public information. Both myself and Mina, our position should be at least presented.
Yeah, Sashi, what I see is that this will become an appendix, even though whatever it is the same way, like I said, timestamp with the email, with all of them, what they have seen it. It will be the similar one for these two reports, one from Commissioner Tambe, one from Commissioner Mina, will be part of the appendix as well, separately, because they already submitted to the city, which itself is a public document. Whatever the communication you make it to city, I think Dr. Joanne and Whitney, you can correct me. Anything submitted to the city through our thing becomes a public document, correct? Anybody can ask to do it. So it is a public document anyway. So I think, personally, I think I don't have any issue because it is a public document. Exposing it as part of it is an additional data point, but it will not be included as in the original thing, but it will be as an additional third data point, which is, yes, it is submitted late, but there is a third data point sitting there.
Okay, I understood the motion, yes.
Yep. Okay, with that.
And I guess if there's someone who doesn't want to look at it, they don't need to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah,
they can just listen to the discussion.
Yeah, I think it's okay. So I think you can go for voting. I think there are no more discussions here, so please.
Chair Kumarapan?
Yes.
Vice Chair Stanek?
Yes.
Commissioner Tambe?
Yes.
Commissioner Shu?
Yes.
Commissioner Begor?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Awesome. So good. So I think it also helps. I know we did a lot of these discussions, but I think it brings more clarity too, because we operate under one kind of a specific timeline. We did it, if not what happened, but still the data is valid because they did the hard work on both the side. I think, but it is making it as another data point, as even it's a late arrival data point. I think that's what it is. But so it's a good discussion. I don't feel good, but the reason why I was hesitating is that I want to make sure that respect people who did it and looked at the timeline and did it, and if you're just going to overwrite, kind of, they should not feel. That's the reason I couldn't make any call on that one. But the additional proposal is also makes sense on, because it's a public data, we can access to it anyway. Otherwise, anybody can query it, they can access it. So anyway, thank you. Wow, it's 10:46. But
we're not done with this item, Gopal. Sorry.
No. So we are not done with it. I'm sorry.
I know you were getting real excited over there, but we're not done yet.
I thought I'm done with it. Don't tell me that, please. So now I am making a motion. I'd say postponing the new business to the next meeting.
No, wait. We're still on.
We have the third bullet.
What is
We're
it?
still on item number 4.
The next steps in process.
Yes, thank you.
So I thought that maybe I missed. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Can you please, Joanne, Dr. Joanne, what is the next step?
I just want to, there was some discussion, but we didn't get back to this point. So I wanted to clarify.
Now I am really tired. I can accept
Yes, I know. I think we are.
Okay.
So
You guys are troopers. You're troopers.
If I may summarize, and Chair, correct me if I'm wrong, that we will have a meeting dedicated to our commission going through these scores and then talking about the importance, not an average, but the importance, making sure we understand each other's perspective. We will come out with a cumulative, commission number. Are we comfortable with that? A couple head nods would be great. Awesome. So in a special meeting, and then from there, utilizing what the staff has also analyzed of these are really critical points, we will be able to come together at that meeting after going through the 18 parks that we have in the various columns that we have listed. We do our thing. We establish what the commission priorities are. We cross-check it with what the staff has put together as the key red issue areas or key opportunity areas, and then we will be able to produce at the end of that meeting a list of the top, X number of things that we will do with that first $200,000.
So can I give you the proposal that I would like to move forward with? From our standpoint, staff have discussed this, and it's a fluid situation. So we have a lot of feedback from Parks and Recreation staff. We have ample feedback from Public Works staff, and we're working on consolidating that data. We think it would be more beneficial to try this discussion out of prioritization with the staff, determine what Public Works decides how to prioritize, what Park and Rec decides to prioritize, and then bring that all to you to give your prioritization. We think that those data points are more helpful and informative to you all to bring them to you prior to you having your discussion. Otherwise, sure. What I foresee is we'll have to do a lot of back and forth.
Yeah, I think maybe I made it clear, I think in one we make it. So we will have 3 different data points. One is what we just have. The second one is from city. When I said that yours is a Park and Rec and Public Works, and then the appendix data of the 2 commissioners. So that's what I said we need to have it, because we don't want to make an isolated decision based on this, just 3, or with the additional, then you will come back. So these are all the data points. We need to have all 3 data points to make sure that we just get onto it. And maybe with that comes a question, Dr. Joanne. So when do you think that will be made available? That will be available?
Well, I mean, I have my director's update to provide to you, and you can see all the things that we're working on.
Okay, sorry, maybe I'm jumping.
You're diligent, but that is my recommendation, and I really feel strongly that that's how we should proceed, to be the most efficient and to work out any kinks about how to organize and facilitate the discussion about the prioritization. Again, we're at almost 11 o'clock tonight, and I
think that's where we started. I don't think that there should be any confusion. I don't want to make, because that's how we started on it. There are different data points, and then with all the data points, we will talk about it. So I don't see anything to go argue and talk about it. I think that's clear. So maybe now, can I go ahead and make a motion? I'm really tired. So can I make a motion? I'm making a motion to move the new business item number 5, which is a project evaluation criteria and process, postponing it to next meeting. Yeah, can you? I think you're on mute, Sashi. This is the time you cannot be on mute, please.
And I did. I don't know what happened there. I second that.
Okay. So no more discussion, I believe. Can I don't know. If you want to discuss, then I'll come there and get something from you. Okay, there's no more discussion. Go for a vote.
Marapan?
Yes, please.
Vice Chair Stanek?
Yes.
Commissioner Tombe?
No.
Commissioner Shu?
Yes.
And Commissioner Begor?
Yes, it's correct. We couldn't hear you still.
Okay, motion passes with 4 votes yes and 1 vote no.
Oh my God, maybe I should talk to the commissioner. Did I say that I will come and get one of the popsicle? No, that's the reason why you said no. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have stayed back.
No, it's just the biggest virtual virtue signaling ever.
Okay, thank you.
What's next?
Yeah, thank you. Next one, we're moving on to staff and commission reports, and the subject is a monthly update report. I think the first one from Director Joanne's report. Please.
I have a report to share for all of you, so let me pull that up. Can you all see that? Okay, great. So I'm happy to provide an update on the many things Park and Recreation staff are working on currently. I'd like to start off the meeting with COVID updates. Moving forward, I will incorporate this information into the director update to streamline the presentations for the meeting. The county will offer free COVID testing at the Cupertino Senior Center on October 7th and 21st from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Testing is by appointment. More information is available on the Santa Clara County website. The Pro Shop at Blackberry Farm Golf Course is now open, serving walk-ins. The last tee time has been scaled back to accommodate for daylight savings. Currently, the last tee time is 5:15 p.m. And the current average golfers per week at Blackberry Farm Golf Course is over 800. Playgrounds have opened as of September 21st based on updated COVID restrictions. Signs have been placed at playgrounds informing users that surfaces have not been sanitized and encouraging sanitization and safety practices. Here are the monthly updates for attendance for some of our programs. Our free virtual exercise classes continue to be very popular with 240 average weekly attendees. The Sports Center is serving over 1,400 participants weekly. There are over 150 people registered for our fee-based virtual exercise classes. And finally, Lifetime Activities has over 500 participants enrolled attending various classes, camps, and private lessons. Last meeting, we discussed field use, and so listed here denotes the current youth sports organizations and the fields they are currently permitted to use. The Parks and Recreation Department has a number of projects that staff are working on that we'd like to update you on. As you are aware, the department is working towards completing a strategic plan that addresses immediate and short-term opportunities identified in the master plan. Park improvements are being considered include upgrades to benches and picnic tables, hydration stations, shade structures, and other amenities. The City Council approved a playground replacement project to annually fund upgrades to playground equipment, starting with the two oldest playground facilities at Creekside and Berrien Parks. Construction at the McClellan Ranch Community Garden began in August. Staff are coordinating volunteer efforts to help with the assembly of over 100 garden beds and are evaluating the processes and procedures for the program. Additionally, the City Council approved a CIP budget of $300,000 for satellite community gardens. In conjunction with the strategic plan, park sites are being evaluated to identify potential locations. The dog off leash area trial at Jollyman Park was extended to allow for more data to be collected on the shared use of the area with the youth sports organizations. Once the trial concludes, results will be provided to the Parks and Recreation Commission and a recommendation will be provided to the City Council. Staff are assessing the scheduling process and fee schedule of the field use policy, which was updated in 2004. Potential renovations to the pool at Blackberry Farm include replastering and the addition of lane lines to improve safety and programming of the pool. The signage program review team will oversee requests, approval, and implementation of new or replacement signage along Stevens Creek corridor to ensure compliance with the signage program for the corridor established in 2014. A needs assessment of the Blackberry Farm Golf Course will be conducted to determine potential short-term and long-term improvements for the golf course and its amenities. A needs assessment of the Sports Center will be conducted, determining potential short and long-term improvements to its facilities and operations. Construction began this month and is expected to be completed in December of this year to address the seismic retrofit needs to meet current state regulated earthquake standards at the Sports Center. The Lawrence Mitty parcel of land bordering the east side of Cupertino was recently acquired and purchased by the city. A planning process will occur to identify the development and use of the land. The funding for the purchase and development of the property was provided as part of the development agreement between the city and Apple for the Apple Park campus project. A press release was published on September 25th, providing more information. Santa Clara County Registrar of Voters will be utilizing the Quinlan Community Center as a voting site on Saturday, October 31st to Monday, November 2nd, from the hours of 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and additional hours on Tuesday, November 3rd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. For the September Cupertino Cares Initiative, 194 emergency bags were passed out on Friday, September the 11th. This month, we will have a Halloween spooktacular giveaway, offering Halloween buckets to residents who register. Buckets include a craft kit, glow bracelets, spider rings, stickers, Halloween-themed book, and a mini pumpkin. Other projects that our staff are working on include reimagining the Creek Tour program held at McClellan Ranch and adapting our operations to allow us to safely reopen McClellan Ranch Nature Museum and the blacksmith shop. This year's Hidden Treasures event will be held virtually as a succulent fundraiser. The event will be held from October 26th to October 30th. More details can be found on the Cupertino Senior Center website. While the Senior Center staff are gearing up for the succulent sale, they are also working to facilitate virtual fireside chats and bingo to further engage the senior community. With the recent high temperatures, the city opened the senior center as a cooling center for 6 dates in September since we last met, and was open today and will be open again tomorrow from 1 to 8 p.m. The Parks and Recreation Department is currently operating with 4 vacant full-time positions, including the assistant director, recreation supervisor, recreation coordinator, and case manager positions. With the recent retirement of our assistant director, I will be the staff liaison for both the Park and Recreation Commission as well as the Library Commission. The annual commissioners' dinner will not be happening this year due to COVID. In its place, staff have created a brochure that will be sent out to commissioners to recognize incoming and outgoing members. Oversight of the Fine Arts Commission was transferred to the Parks and Recreation Department recently, and our staff are supporting them as their liaison and assisting them in their work program items. The Teen Commission is coordinating the youth and teen commissions of Cupertino, Campbell, and Saratoga to virtually host their Pizza and Politics event. To watch and participate live, tune into the city's YouTube channel or Facebook Friday, October 9th at 6 p.m. For more information, it can also be found on the city's website. This past Friday evening was the Chamber of Commerce's Star Awards held virtually. It was my honor and privilege to be able to present the prestigious City Employee of the Year Award to one of our amazing staff, Amanda Huey, Recreation Coordinator, for extraordinary work with seniors and the community. The Cupertino community is truly favored to have Amanda working to make such positive, healthy connections for all those who live and work here. Thank you, and I appreciate your attention.
Thank you. Awesome. Really. But Amanda, absolutely, and I really appreciate that one. Thank you. And do we have any commissioner reports? Okay. Commissioner Sashi.
Question.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
It's great that the parks are all open and there's a lot of soccer and a lot of kids are out there playing. It's wonderful. I think I gave you this information earlier. Joanne, I sent you some email on this. There are concerns that, social distancing is not being maintained. So is code enforcement responsible for that? Who's responsible for that? I mean, I don't expect that Parks and Rec is going to send staff out to see if people are six feet apart.
My recommendation would be to direct people to Cupertino 311. And if they would rather, they can contact the non-emergency sheriff's number.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I think Commissioner Stanek, you also have something. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, sorry, I'll try to be quick. I did go to the mayor's meeting this month, and so we've heard about a number of the commissions. The Fine Arts Commission, they're doing their art in unexpected places. They're looking at a wall at Blackberry Farm. They're also looking, there's been a recommendation or suggestion that there's a sound wall off of 280 that gets a lot of graffiti. And so they're thinking maybe if they can put a mural there, that would help that situation. The teens, we heard a lot about the teens today, so I won't go into that. At the Library Commission, they've got a poetry contest going on. They are doing curbside service now from 1 to 5, I think, during the week, or some days, and 3 to 7 on other days. There is Wi-Fi to the parking lots, so I guess that's available. There's also, to help the digital divide, they've got a loaner program for technology to students. There's, for public safety, they've seen a high burglary rate in the Cupertino Village area near the 280 exit. They're going to have 3 different presentations coming up. One of them is by NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I'm not sure what the date, that might be in October. November, for the block leaders, there's going to be reviewing how they're navigating COVID. In December, the Sheriff's Department will do their presentation. The Bike Ped Commission, they're focusing on their Stevens Creek bike lanes. And there is some discussion about the Junipero-Serra Trail, the name of that, because they may be renaming that. for sensitivity and other issues that we've learned about Juniper Ocera. And that's sort of the highlights. That's all I'll say.
Awesome. Thank you.
I do have one question. We seem to have lost visibility of the work program. It used to be an item on our agenda every month that we would say, what are we going to be looking at in the next?
I do remember. Yeah. Maybe
yeah,
maybe I think partly my missing too. So we think I'll discuss it, and the next time when we set up an agenda on it, I'll discuss with the director on.
And then Chair Gopal, you had actually brought this up when you had first started on the commission, which I really like this idea. In tandem with the work plan, you were like, is there any way to like track status progress of the projects in our work? Yeah. But if we can do it so it's not just like, oh, here's the community garden stuff is happening, but actually like understanding what's going on in those, I think that would be really great, because I've been getting questions and I don't really know how to answer them. And so it would be good
Very valid point.
For that along.
Time to implement it. I agree.
And adding to that, just, don't have to create more work for the staff, but if we could get an idea of how much of the budget has been spent on whatever items. So just we have a view. I'm sure there's finance reports at whatever time. We just can get a copy of at least our projects, and, it makes it simpler for us. So we have it right up front. So we know we have to spend the $200K, whatever, on these water fountains, that sort of thing.
So city staff with IT, there's a bunch of collaboration happening to utilize new software to manage the tracking of all the projects and what's happening and how much money has been spent. So that is in the works for increased visibility and transparency. So that has been heard and staff are working on it.
Okay, awesome.
I will keep that as an action item as well. Thanks, Commissioner Tanbe and Sashi. So they said, okay, come on, go back to work, Gopal, again now. I will. After this meeting, I'll go and start working on that to get the dashboard. So thank you. Any other commissioner reports? Commissioner Mina or anyone with that? There is none. Okay, that's good. The only thing I can report is that I was participating in the Hack Cupertino one. It was fantastic. I just want to share it. It's amazing. So many kids. And I have no idea how do we rank it too, because it is all like a very bare minimum ranking on like a difference between each one. Amazing talents, and predominantly a lot of folks from there. And it looks like it's from all over US because it's not just with the Cupertino. That's what started. But it looks like people from everywhere collaborated in a big way. So that's the only thing I was enjoying it too. Other than that, I had a couple of password reset issues, which I already talked about. Thanks to Whitney, I really specifically want to thank, because I was stuck. The problem is it works on computer, it doesn't work on my phone. I have no idea. I come from security area. I couldn't figure it out why it doesn't work. So I need to go and reset every time. So
I have tried when Microsoft was apparently down, because I could not log in, period. It wasn't my password. And then they told me it was Microsoft was whatever was down, so you couldn't get it.
I was in panic, then the savior is Whitney. So thank you. And so let's go to the next one. The commission attends upcoming meetings and events and the calendaring, right? So I know I'm targeted for this month on 7th to go on it, which I'm available. So do we have the next 2 months? November and December?
Had we tentatively, Nisha, were you going to go after September? Okay. I wasn't sure if you had already gone recently or if you were geared up next. Okay, cool. So then that will be November.
Whenever in November it happens, yeah.
And I'll send you the information when they.
Yeah, just whenever just let me know.
I will.
That's all you needed. The next one, maybe Shashi or someone. Okay.
December or whatever.
Whenever.
Yeah. Okay.
So right now, you're Gopal, you're going for the October. Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm going on 7th October, November. Commissioner Tambe and Commissioner Sashi will be for December. That's a calendar.
And then we did have one other addition for this item. We heard from the city clerk. She said that council is holding a special meeting on December 3rd to receive the election results and holding a swearing in ceremony. That's the same date as our December Parks and Rec meeting. So we can agendize it at the November meeting to consider either canceling or rescheduling the December meeting.
Okay.
Isn't
That we can do it. Sorry, go ahead.
does the chair have power to just, if we can do a doodle, determine? Like we send it to you, we don't see each other's, but we send it to you and then the chair can determine?
Good, yeah, scheduling is okay to collaborate with the public. Yeah, just as long as, once we know and determine, then we'll post that cancellation notice so that folks aware.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Then I think, yeah, we can work with it. So awesome. Thank you. Wow, that's 11:08. Wow, this is a very good discussion. I sincerely thank you all. We had it all for the right reasons for the community, and I do see a community member still online, and that's amazing. And I'm sorry, Commissioner Saji, I'm about to adjourn. So do you anything you have? You raised your hand, so.
I was just trying to say, I'm sorry if I just delayed more discussions, but thank you all for your time.
No, this is part of the process. So we are all committed for it, and we all had an active discussion to serve the communities. And again, community members sitting there and going through all of them, which is correct. And again, for all the folks who might be watching, not like live, at least after, to understand the process, I think I want to make sure that thanks to them, and I think they all have to stay safe, and you all too, because air quality is, again, we got too many warnings today. So stay safe, have fun. Good night, and I will adjourn the meeting at 11:09. Thank you. Good night.